Hi, Allie. I will just give everybody a few minutes to trickle in and then we can get started. All right, we'll just give everybody one more minute and then we can get the presentation started. If you are just joining, remember to mute your microphone, please, to reduce the background noise. I have a few more people joining. All right. All right, everyone, we can get started. My name is Jenna and welcome to our presentation today. I'm coordinator at MICC, if some of you don't know me yet. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you two Disability Hub MN, Lauren Mayer and Heather Stillwell. They're going to be talking about work and benefits today. So I will turn it over to both of them and I will be here to support. One thing, just a reminder, please keep your microphones muted unless you have a question to reduce background noise. And this will be recorded for families that aren't able to make it today. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to get the screen up for my presentation and we'll get started here. All right, so hi everybody, my name is Lauren. I work with Disability Hub MN. Heather Stillwell is my co-presenter today and she's going to be talking to you a little bit later on about the website db101.org and how it can help you estimate the impact of work and benefits. But I am going to start today by just going over some of the benefits that are most common and some of the information about how work is evaluated by those programs. So we've got a lot to get through today, so I'm going to get started without further ado. And this is a list of the benefits that we're going to be going over today. These are the most common most common benefits we see that are impacted by income. It's by no means an exhaustive list, but this is what we're going to try to accomplish today. So we're going to talk about Social Security Disability Insurance, which is SSDI, childhood disability benefits. They're also used to be known as disabled adult child or DAC benefits, so you might hear those terms interchangeably, but the name changed officially a couple years ago. And then supplemental security income or SSI benefits. And then on the healthcare side, we're going to talk about Medicare as well as medical assistance or MA, and with medical assistance or MA, the MA waiver program. So the Community Access for Disability Inclusion waiver or the CADI waiver is most common. There's also a developmental disabilities DD waiver, brain injury, BI waiver, and then the sort of least common of all is the Community Alternative Care or CAC waiver. So those are all going to be under the umbrella of the waiver. So that is all that we are going to try to get through today. So we'll get started here talking about those benefits and a little bit about the work rules that go with them. So let's start with supplemental security or SSI, supplemental security income rather, or SSI. So SSI is a needs-based benefit. And so what that means is that eligibility for SSI is based both on your disability status, but also on the different sources of income that you have. So both earned and unearned income is going to impact SSI. And so that's going to come into play when you talk about a work effort. So for Social Security or SSI, they have a maximum benefit amount, and this amount depends upon your living situation, whether you pay your fair share of housing expenses and whether or not you're in part of a married couple that are both on SSI. So Social Security is going to take that maximum amount, which is sometimes referred to as the federal benefit rate, and then they're going to subtract any of the income that you have access to get the amount that you are going to receive as your benefit amount. So typically, you start off with the max benefit, and then any other income that you have is going to be subtracted. So we're going to talk a little bit about the way that the Social Security Administration talks about work in particular with SSI. So like we said, it's a needs-based benefit. The amount is going to be directly impacted by how much income that you have. So they look at income in sort of two different buckets. There's unearned income, which is basically anything besides work income. So it's mostly benefits, other benefits that you may receive. And that's going to be subtracted dollar for dollar from your SSI benefit. So any unearned income that you have is going to be subtracted dollar for dollar. There is a $20 income exclusion, but it has a large unearned income has a large impact on SSI. But the nice thing about working on SSI is that earned income actually only counts for just under half of its actual value. So when they go to subtract the earned income from your SSI benefit max, it's only going to count for about half. So for example, if you're working and earning $500 a month, Social Security is only going to consider you to be earning a little under $250. So they count income from work a lot less than they count unearned income. So it's a lot easier to keep a little bit of an SSI benefit going while you work. There are some other exclusions. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty of that because these are for sort of more specific situations, less general situations, but there's one called a PASS, which is the plan to achieve self-support. There are impairment related work expenses, blind work expenses or WEEs and BWEs, and there's an exclusion for people who are students and working and under a certain age. So those are some specific situational ones, but we're going to more stress the just general overall rules. All of those though help you to keep more of your benefit while you're going to work. And so along with SSI, there's also medical assistance or MA, and that is a state-based health insurance program. And so MA comes in sort of two different buckets. So there's income-based MA, which covers people that have low income regardless of their disability status. And it has an income limit, which is based on both their household size and their qualifying type. So what I mean by qualifying type is you can be eligible for income on the basis of being a parent, or sorry, income-based MA on the basis of being a parent, on the basis of being pregnant, on being a child. There are different qualifying types and different income limits for each of those associated types. There is also no asset limit with income-based. Now, disability MA does cover people with disabilities who have low income. So the requirements for disability-based MA are that you have that disability determination through the state or through Social Security, and that you also meet those income guidelines. And there are also different guidelines based on how many people are in your household, as well as what type of MA that you might qualify for. So there's a general disability-based MA, and there's a couple different specific types that we're going to go into a little bit later. There's also asset limits on disability-based MA that also depend upon which type that you have. The assets limit can change. So we're going to talk a little bit about medical assistance and some of the different flavors that you might be interested in pursuing. And along with medical assistance, there are also the MA waiver programs, and these programs are intended to provide extra funding for services to help people with disabilities live independently rather than in institutional settings. So to be eligible for an MA waiver, you have to be eligible for a disability MA type. So that's why we're kind of combining the two of them with work, because if your MA disability-based MA continues, then your MA waiver is likely to continue. And then the other is that you have a level of need that is assessed by the county. There's different criteria for each of the four waivers. Those again, the CAC, CADI, DD, and BI waivers, they have different level of needs and different requirements. But the main thing with work, once you're already on a waiver, is knowing that you need to be eligible for a disability-based MA in order to continue qualifying for that waiver. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about work and MA, as well as work and those MA waivers. So like we said, MA is an income-based benefit. So they are subject to income limits and thresholds. So to be eligible, you have to meet those requirements. And so increased income through work could change your eligibility for MA. The MA does have disability-based MA, I should say, has some nice work incentives that allow you to have a little bit more money and still be considered eligible for that. And so one thing that a disability-based MA does is it does not count SSI income at towards those thresholds. So if you even if you have the full $794 of SSI, that does not count towards that income guideline. So that's one way that is helpful to continue on your MA. The other is that they have very similar ways of looking at income as we talked with SSI. So that earned income is going to only count for just under half for MA as well. So you can have more earned income and still retain your eligibility for MA. And as long as, like we said before, as long as the MA hangs around, then the waiver will continue in terms of financial eligibility. So you can use those work incentives to keep both MA and your waiver. The other thing is that they also include the same deductions, the specific deductions like expenses that allow you to go to work related to your impairments, and then those past expenses as well. So there are ways to, even if you are over the limit with your gross earnings, get your countable earnings below, which is really nice. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about a specific MA program for people who are on SSI and also MA. So there's a program specifically for those folks who have SSI and MA called 1619B. This is a really nice program that allows people who are working and have MA to keep, or sorry, are working and have SSI and MA to keep that MA coverage, even if their SSI stops or goes down to $0 a month because they're working. So if you remember when we talked about SSI and work, the SSI benefit subtracts your earned income. And so at some point of work income, right, you're going to have a $0 a month SSI benefit. But this 1619B plan helps keep you eligible for your health insurance, even if that SSI goes to zero. So for the criteria, you know, you have to have been eligible for SSI for at least a month and have been eligible for your MA the month before that SSI dropped to zero. You still have to need MA to continue MA coverage to continue working. And that's a pretty simple thing to demonstrate. Just show that you're using your MA and using your MA and your health coverage helps keep you working. And then it also has a resource limit, which is the same as the SSI resource limit. So that's $2,000 of total assets, which is set by SSI. But the nice thing, it has a really permissive earnings limit. So you can earn up to $69,070 and still be eligible. Sorry, that would be annually, not monthly. That would be kind of insane monthly, but annually, and still keep your medical assistance benefit. So it really allows you to grow your earnings and still keep your health insurance. And so it's a nice benefit. And then the other caveat is that you have to meet all of SSI's other rules. And what that refers to basically is you still have to be considered medically disabled by the Social Security Administration. So you still do those medical reviews every once in a while and still have to continue to be considered medically disabled. But it's a really nice program that allows you to earn quite a bit of money and still keep your health insurance, because a lot of us are concerned mostly with our health insurance more than cash benefits sometimes. So it's a nice program. So that's sort of the SSI MA world. And we're going to switch now into Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI, and Title II benefits, they're called. And we're going to talk a little bit about those benefits and the impact that work has on them. So let's start with Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, it's sometimes known as. There are two sort of basic rules to be entitled to SSDI. So the first is that you have to reach what's called insured status, which means you have to work long enough to be covered by the Social Security program. So the money that you pay in taxes to Social Security out of your earnings, out of your paycheck, they're put towards sort of a trust for this benefit. And so once you have reached a certain number of working hours, you are considered insured. So that's the one thing that you need to have to be eligible. And then the other thing, you have to still meet Social Security's disability standards, which include a standard which is called earning below substantial gainful activity, or SGA. That's going to become a really important concept when you go back to work, because they're going to use that same standard that they used when you applied towards a work effort. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a few slides here. Um, Again, another Title II benefit. So this is under the same umbrella of SSDI, but it's called Childhood Disability Benefits, or CDB. Again, formerly it was called Disabled Adult Child, or DAC. So every once in a while you'll see it referred to as that as well. But that is a benefit where it's very similar to SSDI, but instead of you being insured under Social Security, you have to have a parent who's insured under Social Security. And that parent has to either now be retired, deceased, or disabled themselves. And so then at that point you would be drawing off your parent record. And the other sort of criteria is that you have to have a disability, and that disability has to have begun before the age of 22. But the nice thing about CDB and SSDI is that there aren't any different work rules between the two of them. They all fall under the same umbrella. They all follow the same work rules. So we're going to talk about now the work rules with those Title II benefits. Okay, so work in SSDI and CDB, the Title II benefits, are very different than work on SSI. So SSI was a needs-based benefit. The amount that you got is directly related to how much income you have from any source. With SSDI, they're more interested in the amount of work that you do, and the amount of the work you do correlates with whether or not you're eligible for the benefit. So there's three distinct stages that happen for a person who's on a Title II benefit. So the first is, and it's the most permissive stage, is called the trial work period. During that stage, you can actually work and get your benefit at the same time, no matter how much you earn. So you could theoretically earn $1 million a month, and you would still be getting your check right along with it if you were in that trial work period. So now during the way that you use up a trial work period is that if you make over $940 in a month, you use up one of those 9 trial work period months. You have 9 of them, and every time you earn over 940, you use up one of them. Nothing happens to your benefits, but you are working through. It sort of starts the clock running, and you're working through that trial work period. Now, after you've used up those 9 months, then you move into a period which is called the extended period of eligibility. And that's a 3-year period afterwards. And this is where that SGA figure, substantial gainful activity, becomes important. So during this time, during this 3-year span, if your income is considered over SGA by Social Security, your check pauses. If your income is below, you continue to receive it. The nice thing about this stage is even if you are considered earning over that SGA value, you still have the ability to recall your check by just letting Social Security know, I'm not working at SGA anymore. I've stopped working as many hours, or I've stopped working altogether, and they will start your check right back up. There's not an application process. You're still considered entitled to benefits during this time. So you're not kicked off and have to apply all over again. So that lasts for a whole 3 years. So that gives you some time to really play with work and see if it's going to work out for you in the long term. And then even after that time, there's another 5-year window where if after you stop getting benefits, you can quickly get them started again. It's called expedited reinstatement. Basically, what you need to do is apply through Social Security for it. Show them that you've dropped below SGA. They're going to do an evaluation, a medical evaluation, and during the time you're waiting for them to make a decision, they can give you some provisional benefits while you wait. So it's a nice way of keeping you connected with Social Security for a long period of time so that you don't have to go through that application, because I think we all know the headaches of that initial application process. This is another sort of bumper period where you don't have to go through that entire new application all over again. With Social Security, SSDI, and CDB, the health insurance program that goes along with that is usually Medicare. So it's either for people on those benefits or people who are over the age of 65, but I'm going to think a lot of the people in this room are probably more in the category of being on SSDI or CDB benefits. These benefits, the Medicare itself is going to automatically begin 24 months after you become eligible for the cash benefits. There's nothing on your behalf you have to do. It's just going to start. You'll get a letter and it says Medicare starting. It's a primary source of health insurance. It comes in 3 different parts. There's parts A and B, which are called original Medicare, and they will cover your hospital and doctor's expenses. Part A is typically free with no premium, but Part B does come with a premium that will either be deducted from your check, or if you're eligible for a program through the state to pay it, then the state will pay it. And then Part D is one that is actually not an automatic benefit to start. You do want to sign up for it, but a beneficiary has to themselves choose which plan they would like, and it is a prescription coverage plan. This plan also does usually come with a premium. However, there are some programs through the state and county that can help pay those premiums and those costs. So Medicare is something that just comes hand in hand with your SSDI, and so something that a lot of people have to deal with at some point once their SSDI gets to that point. So we're going to talk a little bit about how work impacts that Medicare. So it is tied to that Social Security cash benefit. So the nice thing about that is if you're getting a cash benefit, you're getting Medicare. So there's not a lot of in between room there. It's either, if you're getting your cash benefit, you don't have to worry about Medicare. So if you do have a cash benefit that stops due to your earnings, there is another work incentive, and it's an extended period of Medicare coverage. So this is going to extend your Medicare past the point of your benefit stopping for at least 93 months past that trial work period. So that's a good 7 years that you're still eligible for Medicare after you've stopped receiving a cash benefit. So Medicare tends to hang around a lot. It's a pretty hardy benefit, I would say. So it's not one that we typically worry about losing. And even after that period where it's, the extended 93 months, even if you get to that point and you say, I really still want to keep my Medicare, you are able to purchase Medicare if you're still working at that time. So it is something where you can keep it going pretty easily if it's a benefit that you're really interested in keeping. The last benefit that I'm going to talk about today is a particular MA benefit that is a benefit for people who are working and have a disability. It's called Medical Assistance for Employed Persons with Disabilities. No mystery in the name there. But this is a really good program for people who want to keep their MA eligibility, who want to be able to earn money. And the nice and sort of best part about this benefit is that there's no income limit. So there's never an amount of income that you could make that would make you ineligible for it. You have to at least have $65 of income per month from work. You also have to have $20,000 or below in assets, which is really nice because that's a bump up. The normal MA asset limit is $3,000, but in this program, you can have up to $20,000 in assets. So it's a nice one for people who are maybe thinking about building up some of those assets. It is not a free MA program, so you do end up paying a monthly premium. However, that premium is based on your income. So it's a sliding scale premium, and you will pay just based on however much your income is. So this is a really nice program in a lot of ways. Like I said before, you can use it to build your assets, but you can also use it. It's a nice benefit because it works as a secondary to Medicare, and Medicare covers about 80% of your total costs and has a 20% out of pocket cost for you if you have no other supplements. And so this comes in and works as a really nice secondary insurance, and then you'd end up paying sort of the MA costs for things. So those pretty low copays, I think it's $1 and $3 copays. So it's a really nice complement to Medicare. It doesn't have an income threshold. You can earn as much as you want and be on it. And you can also build up those assets. So it's a really good benefit for people who are working and want to keep that MA. And also, it is a program that will still maintain your eligibility for waivers. So it's something that you can keep your waiver as you continue to work and as you work and earn more and more money. So I know that was like a huge run through of a lot of different benefits, but going to keep it moving here. That was all of the benefits that I'm going to run through in terms of their work rules. And now we're going to switch over, and Heather is actually going to show you a website that we partner with called Disability Benefits 101 or DB 101. And she's going to give you a rundown of that website and how it can help in your particular situation with work and benefits. So Heather, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. So we're going to go through the website DB 101 and how it can help you understand benefits and eligibility. I know that there was a lot of information that Lauren just went through, and everyone can't remember all of those details when they're making plans. So DB 101 is a great website to use to look at how your benefit eligibility will be affected by work. And so we're going to go through and look at it through the eyes of Anita and her family. Okay, so Anita has finished school and she is interested in going to work. She and her family are really excited about the possibility of her working, but they are a little bit nervous about the effect her extra income might have on her benefits, and especially her healthcare benefits. because she receives a waiver, and that is really essential for her to remain independent. So when she goes to DB 101, she'll be able to look at articles about the benefits that are available and how they're affected by work, and they're laid out in a couple of ways. One way is by program, and one way is by situation. On the situation sections, that might be helpful to Anita would be the youth section and the work and benefits section. Both of these are tailored articles for younger people and people who are exploring work opportunities. In the youth section, you're going to find articles about finding jobs, working, and planning for the transition to adulthood. There are also articles about higher education and planning for the future. This section also features articles specifically directed to parents about the transition to age 18, having conversations about work, and agencies that can help with the transition from school to work, which Anita's parents may find helpful. In the work and benefits section, they will find articles about job supports and accommodation works, and programs that can help build assets and how to manage Anita's benefits while she's working. Reading through all the articles is a really good first step to get basic knowledge about going to work, as well as building confidence about the possibility of working. On the program pages, if Anita and her family want more specific information about benefits she receives, and particularly how work is going to impact them, they can about how work will impact them, or if she would be eligible and how to apply for them, they can go over to the program section on DB 101. The articles in this program situation, the articles in the program situation address both cash benefits and healthcare benefits at the state and federal level. For example, there are articles about Social Security disability programs, county cash programs, as well as information about medical assistance and Medicare. Each of the articles begins by explaining just basic information, its eligibility rules, and follows with the impact that work income will have on the benefit. They also include real life examples, as well as frequently asked questions about the benefit. The program pages can help answer many of the questions Anita and her family have about the benefits that she receives and how she might expect her work income to affect her benefits. Along with the informational articles on DB 101, there are several practical tools to engage learning in other ways. Many of the articles have try it tools or features embedded within them that allow you to put your own personal information and get a snapshot of eligibility for a particular benefit, as well as how work will impact it. There are informational videos sprinkled throughout the various articles on DB 101 that provide visual representation of these benefits and how income impacts the benefits. So success stories there are success stories in there that show real life examples of people who have gone to work and have completely improved the quality of their lives, and they're independent. And the Vault is a personalized tool that allows a person to look for benefit information, store benefit documentation, and communicate with their planning team. It is a place where someone can go through several activities that provide estimates of work and benefits, advice on managing your benefits, budgeting tools, and more. We're going to take a closer look at that in a few minutes. So a little bit more about the Vault. Excuse me. The Vault is a tool that can help people, like I said before, it can store information in a secure way and have it all in one place. You can share that information with providers or anyone you choose, and you can understand your benefits by tailoring your account based on your stored information. There's also helps you to set goals. And so right now we're gonna kind of head over to DB 101, and I'll just kind of give an example of how, show you some of the things we've talked about here and including the vault. So one moment while I share that. Okay. And so this is the DB 101 website, and right up here in this corner, it says Minnesota. And just so you know, there's other states that have it. So if you go to db101.org, make sure you choose Minnesota as your state, because each state's benefits vary quite a bit. And so I created an account for Anita. So we're gonna look at Anita's account. And so right across the top here are the different sections we talked about with youth, work and benefits, the program section, and the vault. So I'm going to jump over to the youth section. And this is the area we talked about before, where there's a number of articles that may be a benefit for Anita to look at about maybe she's interested in having more education after she finishes high school, or some ideas about how to find work. On this side, there's a number of articles that also talk about information that her parents might be interested in as well. So there are some articles she can look at there. If we go to programs, it gives us information about cash benefits and healthcare benefits. And if you go scroll through these, you'll see that the some of the articles have this little camera icon, and those would be articles that also have a video attached to them that might help explain the information as well. When you go into an article, I will just show you this quickly, you can add it to your favorites. And so then you'll be able to locate that quickly if you want to go back to it again, if it has information that you may need. It also gives you the ability to share it with other people, either on Facebook or Twitter. You can print it, email it, or give feedback about the article to the website. So work and benefits is set up similarly to the other pages, where they have information about going to work, managing your money. It gives information about finding a job, how to get job supports and accommodations you may need, and managing your money has information about ABLE accounts and different work incentives that might be able to allow you to build more assets or save more money for yourself. If you have longer term goals like buying a car or buying a house, these are good articles to look at for that. A good place to find those. And then we're going to go to the vault, which we've been talking about. And in the vault, there's a number of things that you can do. You can upload files of important documents that you want to keep in one place and that you might need to share with other people. You can go back and look at information you've done in the past. If you've used some of the tools in the past, you can go back and look at those. You can put contact information in here as well, so that you can keep track of your team and the people that help you with your school, work, and benefits. And you can keep their contact information there, and you can share information securely through the vault with them. So right now we're just going to look at the planning paths, because there's some really good tools in here that would come in handy. And so when you go into the vault, it'll open up to the path. On here, there's a number of tools that you can use. And so Just clicking on there, I was able to get to, you can start a benefit plan, and this will just ask you a few quick questions about if you're currently working, if you have benefits, what your plans for work may be. This next one is a really nice tool to have. It's called, it allows you to request a benefit lookup, and what that will do, it will send a message to DHS, and they will send a report back to you letting you know what your current benefits are. So if you have medical assistance or if you have a waiver, they will give you that information. However, you can only do this for yourself. Someone else cannot do this on your behalf, and you can't request one for someone else. You can only look at your information, and then that information is reported back to you. And again, the vault is secure, so no one else will have access to it other than you. They have a budget tool on here, so you can go in and it'll ask you some questions about if you work, what your benefits are, what types of benefits you get each month, if you get help from other people, and then it'll go through and ask questions about your expenses, and it'll just show you if you are currently have enough money to meet your expenses, and then you know, you can look for ways where having extra money might be helpful for that. Making a work plan is very similar, where it just goes through and asks you some questions about you know, what your ideas are about working, what you would like to do in the future, and some information about what your work experience has been in the past to help you make decisions about what you want to do going forward. How work and benefits work together is a really big one, and we're going to come back and look at this a little bit more after we go through the rest of the steps. Actually, I think we're going to just go through this right now. So we're going to just go in and do a quick estimator, and it says start a work and a benefit and work plan. And you'll just enter information on here about what your plans are. So just going to call it an office job for Anita, and she was born in August of 1998. She's a citizen, and I'll just ask about her disability status and who determined her disabled. So this will be made much faster if you do a benefit lookups first. Once you do a benefit lookup, any information that is in that benefit lookup will automatically be included into the estimator session. A little bit slow. Why is it not moving forward? So it's waiting for DB 101 to move forward, but what it will do is it will go forward and it will ask you information about your household. So it'll talk about your, oh, there we are. So it'll ask like what benefits you're on, if you have MFIP or a past plan or compensation, if you're married, if you have any children, if your current living information, we're going to have in her own place. Do you pay the fair share of household expenses? And yes, she does. And this would make a difference specifically for people who have SSI, because that can affect the amount of the cash benefit you would be eligible to receive. And then it just asks about some other benefits like housing support that you may receive. And I apologize for this. I'm not sure why it's going so slowly right now. But as it goes through, it's going to give more information about or ask for more information about your benefits, such as, what is the benefit amount you receive if you get medical assistance, if you get Medicare. And then it's going to ask about your job and about how many hours you work each week, how many hours you plan to work, and what your pay rate is going to be, and whether or not getting health insurance benefits is an option through your employer as well. And as you go through there, it will ask you some more questions about that, and then it will give you some results. And I was hoping to get to those results. Still thinking. We're just saying Anita is, I'm going to speed through some of these so it doesn't take up our whole time. But you can see it asks about a number of benefits. And again, if you're getting any of these benefits and it comes and they're reported on your benefit lookup report you do through the earlier activity, these will automatically be filled in for you. I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. And I'm going to go in and get a completed one so you can see what a report looks like, because that's going a little bit slow now, which is unusual. It doesn't usually do that. So. I think I'm having internet trouble because I'm not able to load it right now. Lauren, do you have a sample one created that you could share?
Yeah, let me see if I can get, since I know sometimes with Zoom, it's hard to get the computer to play along. So let me go ahead and see if I have just a PDF version of what you would see in the results section of the vault, so you can kind of see a little bit of more of an idea of what you'd get.
Okay, you know what? I was able to find a sample one, so I'm going to share that.
Good, I just pulled one up too.
Okay, so this is what the results would look like. You get a report that would look similar to this. It would have the name and a summary of the current income that that you are receiving, a summary of your current health coverage, and any other benefits you might be receiving. And this is actually what a benefit lookup report would look like. So I pulled up the wrong document, so I apologize for that. But this is what you would get if you did a benefit lookup. You would get a form back that would look similar to this, that would say, what your cash benefits you're currently receiving and what type of health care you're currently receiving. So I'm going to stop sharing. Do you have yours still available, Lauren?
Yes. So I'm going to share the estimator example. So this is just a sample estimator of not a client, but this is for training purposes that we use for our work and benefits coaches. Are you able to see that, Heather?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. And so as you go through it, it's going to give you a review of the session and all the answers that you gave about your household and your income and your work history, and your healthcare benefits. And then it's going to review your plan. And in this example, the person is interested in working in auto body repair. They are, it gives information about any plan changes they might have. And one of them is starting working at this in the auto body job, making $12.50 an hour and working 20 hours per week. And then you will see that you're better, that you're better off by working, and it'll show you what your current earnings are today, what your earnings will look like in 6 months if you start working, and any changes that might happen be expected in 2 years if you start working. It's going to talk about your healthcare coverage today and what your healthcare coverage would look like in 6 months. So this person, by going to work, will be eligible for MAEPD, which they were not eligible for previously. And then it'll be the bottom line will be that more income will be available to him. And that he may lose, even though he may lose his SNAP benefits, he will still have more cash income coming in, and then he'll be eligible for some other property tax returns. So, as I had mentioned before, DB 101 does save these, so you can go back and alter them. Say that this person had been working for 6 months and they did a really great job and they were going to get $1 an hour raise. You can go in and adjust your plan and make that change that there's going to be an increase, and it will give you a new report similar to this, saying how that raise will affect their benefits going forward. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing DB 101 and hopefully it will cooperate with me. And so on the planning path, one of the other tools that is created is a report about managing your benefits. And this is a really important tool to look at. It will create a list for people about what they need to do each month, which includes information about when and how to report your benefits to or your income to Social Security, the county, or any other type of benefit you're receiving. So it'll give you some information about kind of a checklist each month that you can look at and say, okay, I need to report my income to Social Security by the 6th of the month, or I need to update the county because my income has changed. And so that information is reported in the benefit activity as well. So that will create a report that you can keep, and you can keep that in your vault, and you can also share that with other people. You could print it off as well and put it on your refrigerator if that is a good reminder for you, however it works best for you. Building a benefits team. I've gone in on this. It shows that I am, this has my name, so I'm a benefit planner or coach. This person would have a financial worker at their county. They have a VR counselor that they work with, and they also have their mother listed as a person who they work with. It also gives a list of agencies that they work with, and you can put in the telephone numbers. You can customize this so that it have the name of the telephone numbers for Social Security, for Disability Hub, for your county Health and Human Services, for the Public Housing Authority, or your landlord, if that's what you need it. You know, any people you need, you can keep that information in one place and manage that pretty well. So, oops. So, am I still sharing, Lauren?
Nope, I went back to the presentation.
Okay. So there's a lot of tools in the vault that you can use. I think that are very helpful. So in Anita's case, she can use the vault to scan and store communications she receives from Social Security about her new work income. She could use it to save helpful articles on DB 101 to use later and share them with members of her support team. And as we have just shown, there are a number of activities Anita can complete to gain more confidence about going to work and to help keep her organized with managing her benefits in the future. So we have talked a lot today about tools you can use to support planning and goal setting, but the hub itself is a tool you can use as well. We can answer questions related to policy and help people understand their benefit options. We can help explain eligibility criteria for programs and provide education about these topics. And we can help get you connected to community resources for further assistance. We can also help with completing various forms you may receive from the county or Social Security by helping you understand what questions are really asking for. Although we do not offer in-person services, so everything is by the phone or online, but we're able to refer to agencies that can help in person if that's what works best for you. At Disability Hub MN, we are very knowledgeable about Social Security benefits and can provide education and navigation through its various processes. And when things are beyond our scope, typically instances where you might need more of a legal background, such as initial applications or reconsiderations, appeals, or overpayment management, we can help you get in touch with agencies that can help with that as well. You can reach out to us 3 ways. You can call us, you can chat with us, or you can email us. So the chat feature is on the DB. It is on the Disability Hub MN website, as well as the DB 101 website and the HB 101 website. And we are available between 8:30 and 5 Monday through Friday. You can send an email and you will usually get a response back within 1 business day. And you can request that you get a response back either by email or having someone call you back. And you can give us a call, and we're pretty easy to talk to. You can call and let us know what's going on, and we can help you understand the situation and give you options, and if necessary, help you connect to people who can help you connect and solve those problems as well. And again, we have a Facebook page that has information. So if you have Facebook, look for Disability Hub MN and like us. When there's news that happens or changes in benefits, we are able to we're able to put information out about that. And we also have other opportunities for people to engage with our services that way. So are there any questions that we can answer for you?
And you can ask, you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have questions, or you can ask them in the chat, whatever works best for you. If you have any of those, we'd be happy to stick around and answer those. I know with our technical difficulties, we've gone a little bit maybe closer to the end than we would hope for questions, but we are here to, if you have specific questions, here to answer them. I think the big takeaway about DB 101 is just that it's a great resource to help you learn a little bit more about those rules for benefits, and it's a way that you can practically manage your work efforts and help keep you organized. I know myself, I am not an organized person, so I'm very thrilled whenever anything comes out that helps me sort of organize my thoughts and understand how to manage things a little better. So that's sort of, I'm sorry that the tech issues happened. That's kind of unfortunate, but I think that's more due to being on Zoom and having everybody here than the website. So I hope you do, when you get a chance, go check it out. It's a really helpful website. And of all the DB 101 websites, I think, not to toot our own horn, but I think ours is the best.
And if you have questions about your personal benefits, feel free to call DB or call Disability Hub, and we'd be more than happy to answer. We have a lot of staff that are extremely well trained in the benefits available in Minnesota, and they'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
We'll give everybody just another minute or so, and if there's no questions, then we'll end it in a couple minutes. Today, it's really helpful and lots of great knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks for having us.
We'd love
And
to be
again, I apologize. DB 101 is not a bad website. It was just an issue with the presentation today. So I've never had